Greetings, good evening. This is Left Side of the Brain coming at you again with another controversial topic, but yet and still a life-changing topic like we always do here on the channel. This is Left Side of the Brain. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit the likes button. And if you haven't subscribed to the Instagram, go ahead and subscribe to the Instagram at Left Side of the Brain 2 on Instagram. Tonight's topic, we're going to be discussing the homosexual agenda, and we're going to be putting the question out, is homosexuality a disease? Before I get started, I'm using some news footage under the fair use content. So the video is approved under fair use, and also, I'm exercising my freedom of speech in a democratic nation that I live in. By no means am I advocating hate. By no means am I telling somebody, to not be a homosexual or to be heterosexual. I'm just giving my opinion. And, it's sad that I have to do this, but we living in the times where right is called left and left is called right. And, this subject has been on my mind for the last 2 days. I'm coming at you unscripted. I like to do my videos natural. I like the feel of doing a video, with the spontaneous feel. Today's topic is when feminism backfires. You see, you have the liberals, the libertine, the left side, not left side of the brain, but people who are far left, who are promoting transgenderism as the same thing as being a female. But what we're about to cover tonight is going to show you how this frame of thinking has backfired. There's been a lot of people pushing the equality of the sexes, this egalitarianism between male and female, which I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that. But when you start messing with nature and start taking hormone pills and trying to change yourself into something that you were not born as, and then I'm not going to blow the cover. I'm not going to spill the beans yet. What I'm about to show you is a news coverage. It's about these. Well, I'll give you the recap after you watch. So let me be quiet. And this is Left Side of the Brain. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the likes button.
Now to a GMA exclusive, 2 transgender high school runners, they're kicking up dust in Connecticut, taking the top spots at the state girls championship, leaving parents wondering if they have an unfair.
Now these are 2 boys now.
Davis is here, and you sat down with the track star to talk all about this.
That's right, Michael. We're talking about a subject that's so sensitive that Andrea and Terry, who you're about to meet, felt when it was time to tell their parents.
By the way, before I even get started, I want all of my subscribers. For some people, this is your first time coming to this channel. I know this video, it may get a lot of hits. But for people who've been with me since the first channel and now, go ahead and write in the comments section that this is not hate speech. And we agree with Left Side of the Brain exercising his free speech. You can word it like that. And I want everybody to comment that, because the people on my channel, we already know what we teach. We are in a battle between us versus them, or organic portals versus us who have souls. So let's continue. I had to do that because we are in war with these people who control the media outlets. They do not want righteousness or the light to get out, and they will try to stop you by any means necessary. They will say you preaching hate. So I want you all to go ahead and defend me. Left Side of the Brain is not preaching hate. I am exercising my free speech in a democratic country. Everybody or anybody that gets angry about anything I'm saying, you need to move from the United States. It's people like you who are a danger to the rights of all of us Americans who love people who exercise their free speech. I'm not advocating any violence. I'm not advocating violence against homosexuals or anybody with different opinions. So let's get right back into it.
That they're transgender. They each revealed it by text, and now they have gone public with it, and they're facing opposition from people who say even though you may feel like a girl, you need to compete against the boys. Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood dominating the competition at the Girls Track and Field Championships in Connecticut earlier this month, coming in first and second place respectively.
These are boys now.
And while it was a state race, their wins are making national headlines, not because of what they did, but because of who they are, two transgender girls. When was the first time that either of you found any kind of opposition to you participating on the girls?
Can y'all hear good?
I was expecting it, so every day I'll go home, search up track and field high school, Terry Miller.
Because you wanted to know what people were saying.
Yeah.
Some of those comments were harsh. Critics complaining that Andrea and Terry both have an unfair advantage since they were born boys. At what point do you decide, actually, it's more appropriate for me to be on the girls' team and competing with other girls?
I decided that the summer before 9th grade.
They've both started hormone therapy and say that for the most part they've been welcomed by friends, family, coaches, and administrators with open arms. But there is some backlash from parents and students. 2 petitions were even started in an attempt to change the current rule of the state's governing body of interscholastic sports. The rule states that students are entitled to participate on a team based on their gender identity, how they identify.
The girls athletes are at the physical disadvantage compared to the transgender female.
Bianca Stanescu started one of those petitions after her daughter Selena lost to Andrea and Terry at a track meet in May.
They have naturally testosterone within their body that has been proven to give a physical advantage in sports.
The mom, who was unaware that the girls were already undergoing hormone therapy,
I know people.
has gotten a little over 100
I'm shaking my head
signatures.
too.
Medical science tells us that estrogen hormone therapy does change the body, replacing some lean muscle with fat. But of course, everyone is different. Andrea's parents say what's most important to them is the well-being of their child.
Track is number 100 on my list of concerns as a father of a transgender daughter. I'm talking about raising a child for a life. And so is it fair that that child is excluded? Is it fair that that child doesn't feel like they have a place to belong?
It allows her to be who she wants to be, and I think that has a little bit more weight than just winning a medal.
The rules vary from state to state. In 7 states, including Texas, students must play on the team that matches their birth certificate, or have undergone surgery, or have had extended hormone therapy.
Okay.
While the NCAA requires the completion of 1 year of testosterone suppression. Medical research cannot really identify the line where a competitive advantage might exist for trans athletes of either gender. What do you want to say to other transgender youth, young people, teens
let me
who
hear
are out
this,
there
let me hear this.
really struggling through this process?
Just follow your heart. Like, don't let other people determine what you do in life.
Let's just play devil's advocate for a moment and just imagine that you were both born girls and then all of a sudden you had 2 boys who identified as being girls and they said, hey, we're going to be on your team, and maybe now you're not performing as well because they are better.
I'm not going to discourage you or try to say, oh, it's not fair. And it would just push me to run faster. I'd be happy for them because they get to do what they want. They're happy, so then that should in turn make me happy. And they're brave. They're just different from everybody.
Different, huh? Okay. Okay.
And just to be clear, the mother who started the petition says that she would like to see the girls sit out for a year after
Let's stop it right there. Okay. Now, as you see, this is what they've been asking for. This is what Whoopi Goldberg been asking for. This is what Rosie O'Donnell been asking for. This is what Hillary Clinton been asking for. This is what all of the this is what Ellen DeGeneres been asking for. This is what all of the major key players in the homosexual movement, the left-wing movement, this is what they've been asking for all this time. They've been asking for equality amongst the sexes. They've been asking for egalitarianism amongst the sexes. Now when it comes, they want to renege. Now it's causing controversy. You see? Now, because it has crossed over into female land. Now, for those who don't know, on this channel, we teach women control the atmosphere. We have reasons for it. We speak about female organic portals. Okay, this is not what this video is about. But nevertheless, see, all of this transgenderism is good until they start going over into the female world. Now, if it was two girls who was taking hormone therapy, and for those who don't know, hormone therapy is when they give, you know, either males or females who trying to change their sex, they give them pills. For the males, they give them estrogen pills. For the females, they will give them testosterone pills. Nevertheless, that's not going to change their gender. You know what I mean? A male is born with XY chromosomes. A female is born with XX chromosomes. They can take all of the medication they like, but it's not going to change who they are. Nevertheless, it also shows that no matter how much they try to say that there is equality amongst the sexes, it's not really. Because, you see, man, I got so much I want to say. Okay, it's not really because, as you see, now, be honest. If it was two girls, let's say, competing in male track and field, and if they were winning, oh, they would be superstars. Like they would be on the front cover of every magazine. But because it's males saying they want to be transgenders and compete with the females, now all of a sudden it's a problem. You see? And it just goes to show that women do control the atmosphere. And when you are dealing with females, one thing about women, they're going to stick together. You see? Because the female mind, it operates like a fist. You see, men are more apt to support a female's cause, but it's not like that when the shoe is on the other foot. You see, even amongst the liberal-minded people. Now, this is also a clear indication of well, before I even go there, I like to give an example. Okay, what you see is a indicator that we are in the end times. Okay, now the Spirit told me that end times don't mean an apocalypse. It don't necessarily mean some type of apocalyptic event is about to take place. What end times mean is we are at the time in humanity where mankind has come to the end of his common sense. And the confusion, that's what it means, end times. We are at the end. How much far can we go as humans? It's a scripture in the Bible that says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. If this is not foolish, I don't know what is. Now, I'm not supporting this. I'm just saying that this thing has backfired. Okay? Now, I'm going to hit on some points, okay? But before I hit those points, let me tell you this. Okay? What these people are doing, they are trying to come into a house that they were born into that they do not own. None of us who come into this world, we don't own this world. You see, we come into this world and we must share this world. As evil as this planet is, as evil as this world is, we got to make the best of it, you see? And everybody who's been subscribed to my channel, we know what we make of this world. They've been following the videos and stuff, okay? You see, it's like this. If you had a house, right? And if somebody came to your doorstep, they knocked on the door, and you had a policy in your house that you must take your shoes off upon entering your house, then the person who wants to enter your house, they would have no option but to take their shoes off when entering your home, okay? They would have to abide by those rules. If they had mud all over their shoes and you had white carpet on your floors, a brand new house, they would have to abide by your rules or you would kick them out, okay? So this is kind of what's going on right here. none of us have a patent on this world, because none of us created this world. You see what I'm saying? But yet and still, people come into this world and want to change the policy that was already set in this world. The policy that a man's supposed to be with a female and a female supposed to be with a man. You see, that's the policy that's in this world. Now, the only reason why this world is not kicking people out, like an example that I gave, is because the God of this world, the creator, is a just God. And he gives people a chance, an opportunity to correct themselves. Okay? Everything in nature gives everything in nature a chance to correct itself. It's just like your body, if you don't eat healthy, you'll get fat, you'll get high cholesterol. But nature, the nature of your body is designed to allow you a second opportunity. If you start eating healthy and exercising, your metabolism will kick in and you will burn off the excess fat and all of the junk calories. And then you can go back to being your healthy, normal self. So this is what nature is doing, even in a situation like this. Okay? When you try to kick against the prick, when you try to do your own thing and break all of the rules, what happens is you end up in a confused state. Okay? Now, sometimes God would just sit back and let this thing play out. And this is exactly what is happening. It's just playing out. You see, the confusion of these two athletes thinking that they are females when they are actually men. And we're going to get into, is homosexuality a disease? The question that we are posing, is homosexuality a disease? The confusion of their mind state is spilling over, and now it's on the news. Because that confusion mind state is causing trouble. Okay? Now you have female athletes who are naturally born females complaining because now they are losing out on college scholarships because these two transgender males are competing in the state of Connecticut, and they come in first and second place because they have a natural advantage being males because they have testosterone. Okay? Now, even the female admitted this. Now, you have liberals saying that, oh, men and women are equal, and no. Things exist in nature for a reason. Okay? Men are born with testosterone. It gives them, like you see, when things really hit the fan, people will talk logic. Like the lady, the parent of the Caucasian girl track runner. You see, now she's speaking logic. Before she could have been one of those people on the transgender bandwagon. I'm saying possibly she could have been. Not saying she was. But let's just say if she was. When it came over into female land, i.e., when it encroached upon the ones who control the atmosphere, they said, oh, no. We got to do something about this. You see, it's okay when the shoe is on the other foot. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, it would be okay if it was two females competing in male sports. You see, it'll be a big thing, because I noticed that amongst these feminists, it's like they compete with men. Like, if you think that men and women are equal, then why are you always competing with males? Men are not competing with women trying to see who can do the best cheerleading dance steps, or who can put on makeup the best, or I don't know, whatever females are into. You don't see men setting the bar for their manhood by competing with females. The very fact that you see females doing that, it lets you know that a female internally knows that a man is the authority. Because if he wasn't, she wouldn't be trying to measure her success based upon a man. You see, you don't find men doing that. And this is in the West. So these women are not oppressed. No woman in the Western world is oppressed. These women I'm gonna be honest with you, they got more freedom than me. Women control the atmosphere. If you want to know more about that, I did a video on my channel called Women Control the Atmosphere. I need to retouch that subject. But for now, just know women control the atmosphere, okay? So that lets you know that this thing is geared really towards men. But see, the whole feminism thing is about taking down men like myself, okay? Men who are still left, who speak out about the agenda that's taking place. The agenda to silence people from speaking the truth. The agenda to make us feel afraid. The agenda, that, like for instance, I've had my channel removed by YouTube before. You see, and I did nothing wrong. You see what I'm saying? But because what I'm saying goes against what they believe in, because their heart is full of darkness and they operating, and they puppets in this evil system, they'll find any reason why they should ostracize you. Because if you speak out for what's right, I don't call nobody no racial names. I don't call no homosexual no derogative term or any of that. But they don't even care about that. If you say anything that's against the status quo, and that's why we talk about these organic portals, because even this feminism thing is tied into this whole organic portal agenda. All right. But the thing is, it has backfired. You know why it backfired? Because it's not right. It's confusion. You see, eventually it has to backfire anyway. You cannot kick against the prick. They can try all they want to. Transgenderism, homosexuality did not get us humans to this point. We did not get to this point of existence by transgender boys wanting to compete with female athletes. That hasn't did anything for civilization. It hasn't did one iota of anything to get us to this point where we are at in 2018. It didn't do nothing for us in 800 BC. It didn't do nothing for us in 1 AD. Back during the times of the Greeks, competing in the Colosseum, and the Romans, they didn't have females competing with men or men competing with females. So this whole thing is going backwards. Men develop to be men in nature for a reason. Females develop to be females for a reason. You see, that's why I'm saying that this homosexuality thing is a disease. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, let's make it make more sense. Do less talking and let's do more showing, okay? As a matter of fact, let's go to the dictionary. Let's go to the dictionary. Okay, all the left side of the brain supporters, what we doing in the comment section, what we writing, this is not hate speech. Left side of the brain is exercising his freedom of speech in a democratic nation. And if you agree with that, press 1 all the way in the comment section. All right, let's go to let's define the word. Let's look up the word disease. Okay, let's look up the word disease. We are on Google. Let's look up the word disease. Okay. All right. Let's see what it say. It says disease, a disorder of structure. Okay. Listen now. Let's go to Merriam-Webster. They may say it ain't Webster Dictionary. Let's go to Merriam-Webster. Let's go to Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Let's go. Okay, what it say? Definition of disease. You might not can't pronounce it. Some of y'all can't pronounce it.
Disease.
You hear that?
Disease.
Before I even go into reading the definition, what is this transgender situation causing? Dis-ease. It's causing dis-ease. Dis means getting rid of something. It's getting rid of ease. It's not causing peace, it's causing confusion, right? What is this? What are these two transgender boys causing? They're not causing peace. They're not causing people to stand up and sing Kumbaya. So what are they causing? They are causing what? An unrest or a what? Let's see what he got to say. They are causing, say it.
Disease.
What? What?
Disease.
Disease. Dis-ease. Definition of disease. Read it with me. Read it out loud. A condition of the living animal or plant body or of one of its parts that impairs normal functioning and is typically manifested by distinguishing signs and symptoms. Okay? Or number 2, it says a harmful development as in a social institution. Okay, what are we talking about? What are these, what's developing over these transgender track athletes? What is developing? A harmful development. It's not causing peace. All right? It's causing trouble. I didn't even mean for that to come on the screen. I like this definition too. Let's read 2 definitions. Disease, a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific signs or symptoms or that affects a specific location. Where is it affecting? In the state of what? Connecticut. And is not simply a direct result of physical injury. It's a mental illness. It's not a physical thing. They have mental illnesses, okay? A disorder of structure, okay? What do we say? It goes against the normal way things are supposed to be. It's a disorder. It's not order. Order is what brought us here into this world. Let's just imagine if human life was driving up to a McDonald's drive-through window and you made your order. And your order was either a male child or a female child. And you go to the window. What's the only way you can receive that order? Not through disorder of 2 men being with the men or 2 females being with each other. That wouldn't get you your order. Let's say if you went to the window and say, I want to order a baby boy. Okay, how are we going to fix that order? Let's put Johnny and Mike together. Or you go to the window and say, I want to get a baby girl with a pink bonnet to go with it. Okay, let's put Cindy and Julie together. You wouldn't get your order. You know why? Because it would be disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant. Okay? But right now we're dealing with humans. All right? Now let's go back to the other page. Okay?
When was the last time you changed
shut up.
this?
Now. And he looks like a clone, but that's something for another day. Now, we are talking about disease because, okay, let's talk about a disease, right? Maybe let me go back to the screen. We're talking about a disease. I want to bring up another word. So we're teaching right now. I want to bring up another word. Again, this is Left Side of the Brain. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the likes button. Add me on Instagram at Left Side of the Brain 2 on Instagram. Now let's look at another word, epidemic. Again, this is off the cuff. I do all my videos off the cuff. I like that natural feel. Let's go. Listen. What's up?
Epidemic. Epidemic.
They got a girl saying this son. Epidemic. Okay. Epidemic. A widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community at a particular time. A flu epidemic. Okay. Outbreak. Plague. Let's look up the word pandemic. It's the reason why I'm bringing these words up. Now, it's going to make sense when I put it all together. I've been thinking about this for the last 2 days, so y'all just bear with me. Pandemic. I'm not making up the pronunciation.
Pandemic. Pandemic.
I'm not speaking hate speech. I'm using their own words in the matrix, in the organic portal realm. They own laws and definitions. I'm using it against them. Okay? Pandemic. Let's read the definition. Pandemic, of a disease prevalent over a whole country or the world. Now, you got disease, epidemic, and pandemic. Now, let's get into it. Now, why are we saying homosexuality is a disease? Listen. Now, life cannot flourish on this planet if a man and man comes together, or if a female and female comes together. It goes without saying. Let me give you a metaphor. Now, if the first 4 people on this planet, let's just say if it was 4 people created at the same time on this planet, and you had 2 males and 2 females, they were designed, let's say they were designed to be heterosexual, natural. But let's say something occurred in their system, just like this computer. Let's just say a virus got into it, okay? A virus got into these four first beings who were designed to go with the opposite sex. Now, let's say the first 4 people before you and I even existed, before we was born, before our grandparents, blah, blah, so forth and so on. Let's say they were infected with homosexuality. Guess what? We wouldn't be here. You see, that disease from the start of everything would destroy everything. We would not be here today. I wouldn't be giving this lecture. You wouldn't be listening. The crazy confusion going on in Connecticut, it wouldn't even be going on right now. What are you saying, left side of the brain? What I'm saying is, just like how homosexuality can kill off a population of people, it's the same how a disease can kill off a population of people. It's the same. They one and the same. Okay? Now, if one person back in the days, homosexuality was labeled a mental illness. Do I need to pull that up? I don't think I need to pull that up. Well, let me pull it up, because y'all don't believe. Again, I'm using their programming. I'm using everything against them. Homosexuality. Homosexual. Don't laugh at my typing. I'm typing with one hand. Mental illness. Let's type mental illness. Okay, hit enter. Okay, boom. First thing to come up. Boom, 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 boom. In 1973, no wonder during the 70s and the 60s, you had the hippie movement, people using drugs, people started experimenting. So no wonder around this time. Okay. 44 years ago today, the American Psychiatric Association, APA, the largest psychiatric organization in the world, made history by issuing a resolution stating that homosexuality was not a mental illness or sickness. You see, okay. This declaration helped shift public opinion, marking a major milestone for LGBTQ equality. Okay? The resolution stated we will no longer insist on a label of sickness for individuals who insist that they are well and demonstrate no generalized impairment in social effectiveness. Okay? The statement continued to say the APA supports civil rights legislation at local, state, and federal levels that would ensure homosexual citizens the same protections now guaranteed to others. I'm all for that. I'm all for homosexuals not being attacked. It ain't even about that. It's not about calling somebody out, calling somebody a name. We're not even about that. We're not even talking about that. What we are talking about, the long-term effects on a society that homosexuality can have, okay? Primarily amongst the Caucasian race. Because, see, the Caucasian race is already having a zero birth rate in certain nations. I just was reading an article how, I forget the state that it was, but the death rate of whites in that state outnumbered the birth rate. Okay, now imagine that coupled with homosexuality. That can lead to genocide of a people. You see, but until it get that serious, people are still going to shake their fist in the face of God. You see, now I'm about to tie this all together. Let me get back to that. Let me get back to that heading. Let's get back to our thing. That's our thing right there. All right. Now, we're talking about a disease, okay? We're not talking about beating nobody up, calling people names. Calling people names don't change anything. I'm all for that. We're not talking about not hiring homosexuals. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that these people, like we just seen, how in 1973, what was that thing? The APA, they made a resolution no longer saying that homosexuality was an illness. Well, that's a contradiction within itself. When we look at the word disease, illness, epidemic, pandemic, let's go into that. Does homosexuality have the potential to kill off a society? If people started in large numbers practicing homosexuality, the influence of it, man, I haven't seen so many young people talking about they homosexuals in all my life. Man, it has creeped into the elementary schools. It's in the high schools. It's in the middle school. It's in the colleges. It's running rampant like never before. Okay? And now, if somebody say they are born a homosexual, how is that not a disease? Because if you are born feeling opposite of what your body is designed, that's a problem. That needs to be corrected. What if more people started being born like that en masse? Let's just go with their rhetoric that, oh, you can be born a homosexual. I don't agree with that. But let's just go with what they're saying for argument's sake. Let's just say more and more people were born en masse saying that I want to get a sex change operation. I want to take hormone therapy. I want to get castrated. Let's just say that started happening. Let's just say more females did it than men. Let's just say because a woman can only get pregnant once every 9 months. You see, and a man, he can impregnate 90 women in 9 months or more than that. You know what I'm saying? A man got an unlimited amount of sperm throughout his life. A woman, she only ovulates one egg every menstrual cycle. Okay, so let's just say women in mass just started turning lesbian and said they don't want to deal with men. Let's just say in the hospitals, it was a mass outbreak of women giving birth to kids who by the time they were age 5 start saying that they were born homosexual and they don't feel like they in the right body. They feel like a man in a female's body, or you see what I'm saying? Vice versa. That would be a major problem. Okay. Now, when we read the definition of disease, it didn't only talk about human life. It also talked about plant life and in the animal kingdom, right? I'm going to show you how all this is going to tie together. Now, listen, remember I showed you the definition of disease. I showed you the definition of epidemic, and I showed you the definition of a pandemic, right? Now, this is the kicker right here. The hot sauce, the pepper jack sauce. Now, initially, a person with this frame of mind, and I know somebody in the comment section who reads symbols, they will read this and leave a comment, left side of the brain, that U she's holding. And hey, if you see somebody that, this is random, we don't believe in coincidences, I'm going to just leave it up there. Now, we talked about disease. Let's start with disease. Now, initially, being born a homosexual, something is wrong when your mental goes against your physical. It don't take a rocket scientist to understand that, man. It don't take a rocket science to understand that. If you got 2 legs and you limping, something is wrong. Something ain't right. You see, if you stuttering when you speaking, something is going on with your brain. They have conditions like that where people suffer from severe stuttering. And guess what? They were born like that. It don't mean we discriminate against them. They just need help. Okay? Anything that you are born opposite of the way you were designed to be, I don't even care if you say you was born feeling some kind of way. It's still a mental illness. Let's break it down further. Now, I already gave the example about what if women start turning that way in mass. Now, let's say 100 people decided to be transgenders. It's a disease. When that 100 turns to 100,000 transgenders getting operations, it is now at the level of epidemic. Okay? You all can already see where this is going. We looked up the definition of epidemic, and it told us about a breakout of a disease in a location. Let's just say if that 100,000 turned to 1 million, that could still be a city. But what if that 100,000 turned into 100 million? That would no longer be an epidemic. That would be at level 3, pandemic. That would be a pandemic throughout the world where people would be saying, I no longer feel like a female. I feel like a man. And I no longer feel like a man. I feel like a woman. Not only is that a slap in the face of the societal evolution that has brought us this far. You see, man evolved to be who he is for a specific reason. Nature knew exactly what it was doing. Okay? Things in nature that don't fit the bill, it don't make it. It's called survival of the fittest. Now, I'm not a proponent of the whole evolution thing, but some things just make sense. If something makes sense, it makes sense. You see, to survive out in the wilderness, you got to have the equipment to survive. A fish, he got to have fins and fish gills to live inside of an aquatic world. Okay? And in order for humans to survive, we have to operate using our genitals the way they were designed. Put forth to procreate. Now, let's take it a little further. Now, let's just say, remember, disease can be in animals. We read it in plants and humans, right? Let's just say all of a sudden, farmers, pig farmers and cow farmers all around the world started noticing that the cows the male cows were no longer in heat and mating with the female cows? What if the fish in the seas, they stopped doing what they were designed to do? You see? What if the birds, the fowl of the air, they stopped doing what they were supposed to do? You know, trees also have, most of y'all, you probably didn't know. I found out recently myself. I study a little botany. You have male trees. Let's look it up. Do I need to look it up? We'll look it up. You have male trees and female trees. And you have bees that pollinate, right? I'm going to show y'all how this thing can turn into a global collapse. I'm going to show y'all how this thing can turn it. Y'all know how we get down on this channel. Everybody know who've been following me for it. Okay. Can a tree be male or female? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. They are chiefly dioecious, which means that there are both male trees and female trees, but individual trees can be polygamous, having both hermaphroditic and unisexual flowers, so both male and female flowers can reside on the same tree. Now, it's saying male and female flowers can reside on the same tree, right? So it's not saying, okay, let's go back to that. Come on, what was my thing? But anyway, as you see, you got trees are even classified under male and female. And you can go through that information on your own time, because I got to get through this video. Okay, you even got trees that can be male and female, right? Now we put forth, what if the fish started acting up? They didn't want to do what they was designed. What if the cattle started acting up? What if the fowl of the air started acting up? What if the bees, you know how they say the birds and bees? When you explaining to children about the birds and bees, how children are born. Why do we use birds and bees anyway? Because bees pollinate everything you see around you in the plant kingdom, and birds mate all day long. Like, I wake up early in the morning sometimes just to hear the birds sing. I sit and I meditate and I listen to the birds sing. Don't you know they be doing mating calls during that time in the morning? They be making, and you hear the different species of birds singing. They each got a different sound, and what they saying is, I made it through the night. The alpha birds, some birds didn't make it through the night, so they giving out a call around the treetops for many, many miles to the female birds that we made it through the night. We are ready to procreate with you. Okay? So the birds and the bees, let's just say if the birds and the bees were affected by this homosexuality and transgenderism, and they all woke up one morning saying, or something went wrong inside of their brains, and they were no longer operating how they were designed to operate. What would happen in the world if bees no longer fertilize the queen bee? We need bees to pollinate the trees so we can eat. Now, everything in nature works in unison so we can have order, right? We need bees to operate. Male and female bees, they need to operate how they design. We need the insects to operate how they design. We need snakes to attract male snakes to female snakes to keep the rodent population down. We need birds, male birds, to attract the female birds to keep the insect populations down. When these things go haywire, we will be living in a world that will be out of order. If birds started saying they transgender, roaches and mice and everything would just overpopulate. If snakes wasn't keeping things at a taper point, tapering the birth. See, things in nature exist to keep balance. When the genders are thrown out of balance, it affects other areas in the world. You see? You see? So the same can be said. So if these people pushing the left-wing agenda, the Hillary Clintons of the world, the Rosie O'Donnells of the world, the LGBT community, what if they woke up one morning and they looking at the news and they see that it's no longer beef? There's a shortage of beef in the world because all the cattle have died out. Because male cattle, for some strange reason, they'll say it's a disease then. They'll say it's not normal then. They'll try to fix it then. If they woke up one morning and the fish start acting up in the world, and you can't go to McDonald's and get that Filet-O-Fish sandwich no more. When you can't have that fish fry on the 4th of July no more, they'll say something wrong with it then. You see what I'm saying? And it's getting to that point. You see, I hope God even allows that to happen, just to show these people who is in charge. I bet you they'll repent then. I bet you they'll repent then if they go to McDonald's one day and the person at the window say, we are no longer serving hamburgers because the male cows don't want to mate with the female cows, so we're not having no more cows. So you know what those people gonna do? Those same left-wing people who say it's a choice. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna artificially inseminate the female cow against her will. She don't want to be with a male cow. Why are you gonna artificially inseminate it then? That's selfish. Why are you going against what nature wants to do? It's their choice. You know what they'll try to do? They'll try to find, scientists would come together and they would try to find out why the fish in the 7 oceans of the world, in the 7 seas of the world, in all the freshwater lakes in the world, Lake Michigan, the Nile River, the Amazon River, they would try to find out why is nature going haywire? What's going on? They'll repent then. Something like this is going to happen. I pray, I hope that it happens. I hope that it happens because something like that has to wake these people up. Because man's supposed to be the example of everything else in nature. That's why we have the intelligence that we have. We are operating worse than animals. You see the animal kingdom not doing that? What does that make us as people? We are supporting things that fish don't even do, that bees don't even do, that birds don't even do. What does that make us look like compared to Rover the dog, who got sense enough to know he's supposed to be with another female dog? How does that make us look as human beings? Ask yourself that. So if it's a disease, if it started happening in the animal kingdom and animals started dying out, what's the definition of a disease? It kills a human. Cancer kills the body. We were put here to procreate. If you're not procreating, you're going against the structure of life in this world. Okay? So how can it be natural? How can it be natural? How can it not be a disease? If it turned into a pandemic, there would be no more children being born in the hospitals. That would also affect the economy. If there are no more kids being born in the hospitals, guess what? You're going to put the Huggies diaper company out of business. You see how I was talking about in the animal kingdom, how it would affect every area. Like if snakes started being homosexuals, rodents, the rodent population would just go sky high. Okay, if humans started doing this more and more and more, and we just turned against each other, it would be like turning against each other. It'll be like suicide. Suicide. Everybody would be committing suicide through the lifestyle of homosexuality. It has the potential to kill off humanity. And they said it's not a disease. It's not an illness. And these are people with PhDs who are saying this. Harvard graduates, Yale graduates, the top schools in America. These are the people who run this world. And y'all be second guessing me when I'm talking about organic portals. I bet you won't believe that no more. I bet after hearing this, you don't believe. You will never second guess organic portals. These are the people who run this world. And it's all an agenda against men with souls. That's what it's all about. It's all to make us see, when this world gets more and more and more LGBT, more and more transgender, it makes people, like a few years from now, they may put people in jail just for saying what I'm saying. Now, did I say anything hateful? Did I tell you to hate anybody? Did I not give clear, concise, precise examples that nobody can go against? I showed you example after example. And you know what? Somebody will still be so dog-hearted that they'll still find a reason to flag this video. That person, I tell you, their life is controlled by darkness. Those are the type of people who do not belong in a democratic nation of the United States. They need to move to North Korea or somewhere where you cannot exercise your logic. That's another reason why this transgender thing is against us. See, the battle is us versus them, because us, the United Souls, that's what us stands for. The United Souls, us, is an abbreviation. That's what it can mean. But us also means the conglomerate of the people with souls versus the organic portals. They don't want us to use our logic. Logic is now a crime. They don't want us to implement our logic. They don't want us to implement our logical ability. Somebody gonna break down, hello, Rebecca. I know how y'all do in the comment section. Y'all see things. Sometimes people write stuff in the comments on this section, on this channel, that I don't even be noticing at the time. They'll point out squares and colors and everything. And I like that, because that shows me that they have not killed all of the logic out of us. But they want to get it to the day where people would be looking at videos and can't pull out other stuff that I could have missed, or add something to what I said that at the moment I didn't say. And that's all good. That's what I like. Each one teach one. That's what it's about. So back to what I'm saying, how can it not be a disease? And I've just showed and proved how this thing has the potential to wipe out all of humanity. And with that, I'm going to end this video. This is Left Side of the Brain. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit the likes button. Let's get 100,000 likes on this video. Share. Remember what I told you all to put in the comment section. Remember what I told you all to put in the comment section. Share this video. Somebody gonna pull that out. Share this video. Hit the likes button. Add us on Instagram at Left Side of the Brain 2. What else? Support the Patreon. www.patreon.com/Left Side of the Brain. I will leave all of that stuff in the description box. This is Left Side of the Brain signing out.